the strongest. He learns sword techniques, which are all have different effects, similar to like different special attacks that Shaman or like Steiner learned in Final Fantasy IX. Rudy uses a sword for his normal attacks, but he also has arms. Yes, arms. But they're actual firearms, actual weapons, which are in this game universe are like weapons of the apocalypse. They're forbidden, and so he has different things like a grenade launcher, a hand cannon, a laser cannon, missile launcher, and those are his special thing. You can upgrade them like you can, like say in a Resident Evil game. They have ammunition, but it's just another item you have to stock up on the dungeons. And then what I really like is
Psycho Crack Awesome.
Why am I blanking on her name again?
What kind of attack is Psycho Crack?
Hold on, what? Anyone know her name again? Sorry. Cecilia, yeah. I am smart. San Martin. But the way you do magic in this is, and you just pick whatever spell you have, but it seems tedious, but it's actually kind of cool. You buy blank scrolls, and you combine two elements to make a spell. Like you combine, earth and air to make a spell, or water and fire. And you can do that with both white magic and light magic and dark magic, and you have access to both. And there are two tiers of magic you have access to. You have the level 1 magic early in the game, and then you have the level 2 magic later in the game. There's some really cool spells. You can launch like a dark blast or a light blast at people, and some of the effects are actually really cool. And the puzzles are actually quite challenging. It almost feels like you're playing like a combination of a Final Fantasy game and Legend of Zelda. It's actually relatively inexpensive if you want to find the original copy. You can probably get it for less than $40, which isn't too bad for a game this old and this good. But
one person quickly said free on PS Vita, apparently.
Yeah, it's this short download on the PlayStation.
yeah, is it still $6?
I think it's actually.
Whoa. Oh, okay.
And then it's like $6.99 for
Right, yeah, but still $6 for a game like this. You can play it on the PSP or the PS Vita.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a pretty good deal. You had something you wanted to say?
Yeah, doesn't Wild Arms 2 completely change the art style? It's like they start running around in combat.
Yeah, it's like this was the only Wild Arms of its type. Like this was the original. It's the only one that was like this. The subsequent ones, I think because they strayed from this, they kind of got lost in the mix with all the other ones. Like I was really excited for Wild Arms 2 when it came out, and I was like, what is this? And then I never really, because I borrowed it from a friend, the same friend who let me borrow the original, and I was just, I couldn't get into it. And then I went back and played later games of the series, and the remake, Ultra Code F, which is really rare. And I was expecting, oh my god, this is going to be great. It's going to be like high-resolution Wild Arms. It's going to be awesome. And then it started off so promising because it had like the same exact opening theme, and they changed up the animation. The animation was almost as good. It was really good. I was like, so excited. I started playing, and then I got a couple hours into it, and I'm like, it's just not the same. And it was too much like the newer ones, and I was just like, no, I can't do it. I can't deal with it. But yeah, like I said, if you guys haven't played this, especially if you like older school RPGs, like if you're in the last panel, or even if you like newer RPGs, it's still definitely worth a play. It's pretty much something for everybody in here in this game, and yeah, you can find it on the cheap pretty well, as long as you don't have too many compunctions about digital downloads.
Interesting.
All right, so let's move on.
Looks solid. Talk, more about the situation, like, as I kind of tried to say about Final Fantasy VII as like the progenitor of all of it, like, the goods outweigh the bad, even like I said about Seventh Saga in the previous panel. It did produce a lot of ignorance and like some remarkably stolid and stubborn fans, but its goods the goods and positives outweigh the bad. But the history of it is interesting also because of, statements like they said the PlayStation was the only system that could handle it. That's nonsense. The Saturn could have easily done it too. A lot of the game feels like it was produced not just like articulating, I believe, putting $30 million from the budget, but a lot of it feels like a little convenience of history, because in many ways I found the PlayStation to be rather unremarkable for the first 2 years of its existence. And that's what made me want to buy the game, I mean the system, and I think it was that case for a lot of people. Because, for instance, the advertising, despite how much they tried to attract what they call the dude bros now, like with ESPN skating and all that stuff like that, a lot of the games were incredibly derivative for the first 2 years of PlayStation. So it was like attitude adjustment, if you will. But it was that game that would have done it more than anything.
To be entirely fair, there are very few systems who have like their absolute best games and are in their prime in the first couple of years of their existence. Look at the PlayStation 2. Through the first year, their launch games were unremarkable. I mean, there was the Bouncer, SSX, Red Faction, and then it really didn't get any great games until like Twisted Metal Black and Gran Turismo 3 came out, and it had been out for almost a year by that point. Then they just kept coming and coming and coming. I mean, PlayStation was the same way. I mean, not as much for me because I liked a lot of the games that they came out with in the first couple of years, like Twisted Metal, Warhawk, Destruction Derby, those types of games. And one of my favorites that came out earlier in that age. Anyone ever played Soul Blade? Soul Blade.
Oh, the fighting game.
Yes. The precursor to Soul Calibur, and gratuitous bouncing boobs.
And the World Tour, what was that called? Weapon Master mode? That was RPG-like, and I certainly enjoyed that mode.
Oh yeah, definitely. I liked the text was well written, and it did feel like I was playing a little bit of an RPG. Complete with the giant, the teenager wielding a giant sword.
It's true, the story in that was rather interesting.
But yeah, we're not here to talk about fighting games, so. He actually had a random Capcom panel yesterday, which he talked about that.
Yeah, that went over well. That was interesting.
All right, well, a lot of good that does you now. I apologize. So Final Fantasy VII really put RPGs on the map, like made them go mainstream in a way that they hadn't done before. Now, you can say that a lot of people, like pessimists, would people who don't look back fondly in retrospect because of what came of Final Fantasy VII. They say that's when everything started to go downhill. But at the same time, if Final Fantasy VII hadn't given the genre the exposure it did, people wouldn't have wanted to take risks on other projects. For instance, how many other great RPGs were there on the PlayStation besides Final Fantasy? There was Xenogears.
Square Renaissance, yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. What's that game called? Brave Fencer Musashi, Legend of Dragoon, Grandia. Yeah, all those different games. Anything you can think of, Star Ocean, Legend of Legaia. All those ones you guys are mentioning. Feel free to pipe up with any more that I forget. I'm not the Wikipedia of RPGs, despite the fact I'm running a panel that is like that.
There's just so much, and that's another side effect of it. In addition to, it's pretty darn great. We don't have to pay a lot of money for them anymore, but they were less reluctant to release a lot of their games. So
yeah, and from a business perspective, it let them take risks on projects that they otherwise wouldn't have done. We got so many great games for it. What are the chances that Vagrant Story gets released if Final Fantasy VII isn't that successful?
Nah.
What are the chances that we can even get Chrono Cross?
Yeah.
And that's the next game I want to talk about. We were listening to it before. We talked about it a little bit before, but Chrono Cross. Most people that I know do like it, but the ones that don't like it hate it. Oh my God, do they hate it? How many people know someone that has an irrational hate for Chrono Cross? Yeah. Oh man. For those of you that don't, you're very, very lucky. Because there are some, I had one friend who I walked home from school with for 3 years in high school, and it came out my freshman year in high school, I believe, and he would not stop talking about it until it came out. It's oh my God, it's gonna be amazing, it's gonna be amazing. Then it comes out and he's like, it's terrible, this sucks, it's horrible, I went so many years, they destroyed my childhood, and just ranted. Every day I would have to deal with this rant. It was ridiculous. But then I played the game, and I thought it was amazing. like just like Wild Arms, it hooked me from the opening cutscene. And most people, how many people here have played Chrono Cross? Most people, okay. So, I mean, unless you guys want us to show the opening cutscene.
It's really more of a montage.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can put it up if you want, but I'll keep talking about it. But, oh yeah, but you know, yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of spoilers, but you know, but not too blatant. Like showing spoiler alert for a 20-year-old game. You know, when you see a kid fall on the ground in the middle of the cutscene, you're wondering what the hell's going on.
The music again.
Yeah, that seems to be a common trope. Even I believe even Soul Blade did that. Not to bring that back into it. I believe you know, they had a few things going on there.
Coincidence, but
yeah, coincidence. But I booted up the game and I see you know SquareSoft and you know that whole thing. They had a little water effect on it, I believe, because this whole game's themed around water. And yeah, the whole cycle of life, the Hindu concept of you know resurrection and whatnot.
what other game uses the word celebrate?